Hello, I'm Paul, and this is Talitha, a 28-foot 1940s double-ended wooden sailboat that I'm restoring here in Melbourne, Australia. If that interests you, then please like, subscribe, and share. Okay, so the bow of the boat is... Excuse me. Okay, so the bow of the boat has much more light when the hatch is open. I did build a hatch that has a deck light, so it should be lit, sort of like this. And this area is what I thought about putting a double bunk. A sailboat double bunk, obviously, a bit small. But let's see if we can clean up the chain locker and sort out some of them. Let's take a quick look at some of the discoveries. This frame here, obviously very rough. Cracked, I don't know if you can see that. There's a big space there. Holes in the hull, which I knew about. From random things that need to be filled. This frame here, cracked. Some clenched nails. They're not really holding. You can see that. Clenched nail. Random pieces of wood next to frames. Pretty fuzzy around this whatever through hull was here in the past. So the backing definitely is no good. Same with up here. It's a bit fuzzy. It's a lot fuzzy and rotted. Again, hopefully stainless steel, but not necessarily. Right here. Screws through the hull, not into the frames. Frames, it's a bit fuzzy on the outside, but not bad. Up here, this is the stern post. I can move that very easily, and this is what was securing the anchor into something, I assume, down here at one point. So that's pretty bad. I mean, the piece of wood seems all right. The connectors appear to be iron. They've rusted out. There looks like some copper nails next to them. Anyway, it is what it is. A lot of work, which I knew that. Come over here. Stainless steel, possibly. Or just a steel screw next to a copper clenched nail. Some clenched nails. More clenched nails up there, original. Paint's in rough shape like the rest of it. See up here, there's definitely some iron fittings and some iron thickness in the wood. Up there just looks like a mess. Connector's not really connecting to anything. Some cracked wood. But we'll see. None of it's beyond repair. Worst case is a replacement and a rebuild. Okay, thanks for the suggestions on scrapers. I actually have some of those hardened steel razor scrapers. But I'm just using these crappy paint scrapers right now to have an idea what's going on to the hull. I'll definitely get to using a better scraper and a heat gun to get rid of the paint from everything once I get it initially cleaned. You probably don't want to watch me keep scraping, so we'll keep scraping the bow for a bit and see how far I get, and then we'll come back and take a look. Okay, so there's the port side. There's the bilge. I spent about half hour on the starboard side. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bays between the ribs. Scraped off fairly easily with no heat and not a good scraper. So yeah, that was about half hour's work. Haven't touched the chain locker, mostly because I want to clean all this out before, so I can get the chain out, and also have to investigate this post that is not connected anymore. So I'll do the other side. I'll have to get the vacuum in here, do some cleanup. It does go faster than I think. It is tedious and not clean. but I am wearing a mask, goggles, so it's also hot and a bit humid today. Anyway, we'll keep going. Okay, so lots of lead paint everywhere. We scraped down a number of bays in the bow. We had left the chain locker. And again, this is just with a crap paint scraper and a bit of elbow grease. No heat, no razor or steel scrapers. So this is just to see what's going on inside the frames and the planking. So I'll give this a quick vacuum and clean it up. We'll see what the interior looks like after I move some of the trash out of the way and see what sort of progress we've made. Okay, so fighting the shop back with all this lead paint. As you can see, lots of stuff in the bilge back here. Vacuum's full, but up here, fairly clean. So let's see what I've found. First big concern, other than some cracked frames, is this frame is just missing at the end, or pretty much missing. But the clenched nails that are copper look like they're in great condition. Again, I'm finding more steel screws, which will have to be removed and replaced. There's a couple more. Looks like bitumen in the bilge, which is, I guess, what I would expect. Black tar, bitumen, given it was built in the 40s and it's now 75 years old, would have been repaired before. This interior forefoot looks like it's 2 pieces of wood. That, or it's got a check with a cut. So I imagine it's a couple pieces sistered together. But also there's, where is it? Some of this goop down in the bilge, which I don't like and probably shouldn't be there. The bitumen, all good. Would expect that. It looks like it might even be original to the boat based on how hard and glassy it's become. So definitely some frame sistering to go, a lot of refastening, and there's going to be plank replacements. As we saw in an earlier video, there's definitely a few rotted planks above the waterline, and I'm not sure how the garboards are holding up. Okay, so as for the rest of the interior, we know we got some scraping back there. There's a big section here that hasn't been done. I won't make you watch that. It will get done at some point. Probably need to remove the port side and get rid of all this junk somewhere. And it's winter in Australia, and I'm in Melbourne, so we're pretty far south. It gets cold and rainy, so I'm gonna get the old crappy tarp, which is up on deck over the boat before we leave for this session of boat building or boat restoration. Or is it boat destruction? Hard to tell at this point. Also, the floor, I don't know if you can see me doing that. The floor's a bit loose. This floor, it's got planks attached to it, which might be why. It doesn't seem to be super attached to the keel, unlike the other floors, which you can't see, which do have keel bolts, which also need to be checked. So thanks for the suggestion, and I will get onto that as soon as I strip out the interior. There's definitely some dead wood work to do at the front of the keel. We'll see how the wood keel is faring. I just noticed here, it looks like, not sure if you can see, I'll go put my finger on it. There's a loose rivet, copper rivet, and a cracked frame, and it looks like it's not a fair curve for when you stand and look at it. You guys may not be able to tell. Anyway, debating whether to get rid of garbage today or not. Definitely will mark level before I remove the rest of the interior, just to check a few things so that when I reinstall it, I install things level, so when she floats one day, the bench tops and the settee, etc., is actually flat and level. Okay, so she's put to bed for the winter, but not for the whole winter. I'll be back soon, and hopefully you guys will join me. on restoring Talitha. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for watching. If you are at all interested in these videos, and if you got to this point, you probably are, then please consider subscribing. Hit the notification bell so that you get notified on new uploads, and hopefully I'll see you on the rest of my journey.